Zion Williamson has been thought of as the future of the NBA for a while now, and if not for injury problems, he probably would have gotten there already. He's a treat to watch when he's healthy, and he showcased that against the Timberwolves, scoring a career high of 43 points. In this video, we'll be talking about what a beast Zion Williamson really is. First off, Zion saved the Pelicans. Okay, let's talk about that game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. This game was almost too close to call, and the 119 to 118 score paints a great picture of how tight it was. The Pelicans sat at the top of the table again, but we have to talk about the 22-year-old that won them the game. Zion Williamson ran riot against the Wolves, scoring a personal best of 43 points. It was a staple Zion Williamson performance, attacking the rim, pushing players into the paint, and dunking on anyone that gives him an inch of space. The big man, who isn't even a big man, scored all but 3 of his 43 from the paint or the free throw line, which is pretty typical for him. He was bullying defenders all night. Zion got 43 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists during the game, but what was most important was when he scored. Looking at the game in a broader sense, you'll notice that all but 10 of his total points were scored in the third and fourth quarters of the game. He scored 14 points in the fourth quarter, showing that even at his young age, Zion leads from the front. CJ McCollum even said after the game that their game plan was essentially just to get the ball to Zion and move the hell out of the way. Well, the plan worked out beautifully, as the win has put the Pelicans back in the driving seat for the Western Conference. Moving on, Zion is generational talent. The Pelicans are currently sitting pretty at the top of the Western Conference, and a lot of praise has to go to Zion Williamson. Zion is the kind of player that comes around once every generation. He's not known for his three-point game, and that's something a lot of teams look for in this modern age. However, he makes up for it with his many other advantages. He's always been a beast when it comes to physicality, and that plays into his game a lot. Zion is only 6'6", which might be insane for us, but for the NBA, it's pretty average. So at that height, he should be pretty useless at the rim, right? Wrong. Zion may not have the height, but he definitely has the strength. Williamson is 285 pounds of pure muscle. It's no surprise when we watch him back anyone guarding him in the paint. He's an absolute nightmare to guard because he can easily overpower you. Zion looks like prime Shaq when he's attacking the paint. No matter who you are or what you do, Zion has the ability to put you on a poster with his insane dunks. Anytime you see the ball in Zion's hands, he's almost always score. The best part is, Zion is only 22 years old. He's been on the path to greatness since he was in high school, and now at his young age, he's out there ripping teams apart. Coming up, how's Zion's health? Zion Williamson has showcased strength that we haven't seen since the days of Shaquille O'Neal. He bulldogs his way through defenses, proving that no one is a match for his raw power and his insanely athletic first step. There really hasn't been any NBA defender that's been able to give Zion a legitimately tough challenge, with even Rudy Gobert failing to stop the tank. The biggest challenge he has faced, however, has been with his own injuries. Zion was drafted to the Pelicans for his first pro year back in 2019. It's been 4 years since, and he's missed over 63% of his games in New Orleans. The first 3 seasons of Zion's career ended up disappointing fans as he struggled to stay fit. When he played, he was still usually the best player on the court. Zion's talent is unparalleled and his future looks very bright, but only if he can stay fit. That's what he's been doing this season, and it really shows. Pelicans fans are delighted because Zion has been taking extra care of his diet and overall health. He's been far more involved in the team so far this season, and it isn't a coincidence that the Pelicans are playing the way they have been. Zion is the guy over in New Orleans, and if he can stay fit throughout the season, the Pelicans have a real chance of some playoff success. Moving on, how good have the Pelicans been? The New Orleans Pelicans have been soaring this season, mauling their way to the top of the Western Conference. The win against the Timberwolves really showcased everything there is to love about this team. With a really solid and balanced team playing around starman Zion Williamson, the Pelicans have been fantastic so far. What's scary is the fact that Brandon Ingram has missed a significant number of games, and the Pelicans are still performing. CJ McCollum, Jonas Valanciunas, Trey Murphy III, and Najee Marshall have been putting their best foot forward, and you could see that against the Timberwolves. All 4 of them managed to get double figures in the game and helped Zion immensely. The team has created a great way of capitalizing on Zion's strengths and working hard to give him opportunities. The Pelicans haven't managed to rack up 40 wins since 2017, but this is starting to look like it could be their year. They've already managed a great record of 22 wins and 12 losses, putting them top of the Western Conference, tied with the Denver Nuggets. Willie Green has been getting the best out of a well-balanced Pelicans team that is looking better and better with every game. Next up, the future looks bright in New Orleans. The New Orleans Pelicans have one of the best overall rosters in the NBA right now, which is why it's insane to think how youthful the team really is. Zion Williamson is only 22 years old right now. Let that sink in. The man that's been rampaging through teams has a long career ahead of him, and he's already developed into the perfect star to mold your team around. Apart from Zion and his obvious stardom, CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram are also all-stars. Alongside them, the Pelicans have a gem of a player in Jonas Valanciunas. Valanciunas is perfect for his role in the team and is honestly very underrated. They also have an all-defensive player in Herbert Jones to clean up. The team probably has the most squad depth out of any team in the league. With players like Trey Murphy III, Jose Alvarado, Larry Nance Jr., Najee Marshall, and others, Willie Green is spoiled for a choice a lot of time. The team has time on its side as well. While a lot of people thought the squad was too inexperienced to have any great success, the young guns have really proved everyone wrong. Sure, they aren't as experienced as, let's say, the Golden State Warriors, but the difference in performance has been pretty stark. The entire squad looks set to have a very long-lasting impact on the NBA, as their bright futures are looking brighter with every game. Coming up, Zion for MVP? Back when we were watching YouTube videos about this 6'6", 200+ pound high school basketball player, all of us kind of knew this was going to happen. Zion Williamson has been destined for success in the sport from a very early age, and this season, he's tearing up the league like it's no one's business. Zion's been averaging a fantastic 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 4.7 assists so far this season. Brandon Ingram being injured should have been really bad news for the Pelicans, but Zion has stepped up his game to match the occasion. He upped his shooting average to 27.5 points, his rebounds to 7.5, and his assists to 5.3, making him the team's leading playmaker. For the first time in his career, Zion isn't just putting up insane stats for a bad team either. The Pelicans are in great shape, and Zion's leading them front and center. Zion has even taken a leadership role within the Pelicans team, being more vocal on the court, demanding the ball, and making tough decisions for the team. He even sank a three-pointer against the Timberwolves when the Pelicans really needed it. We all know three-pointers aren't Zion's strong suit, but he stepped up when it mattered. Finally, do we have a new Shaq? It's been years since we saw Shaq and Kobe tearing up the league together, and since then, we've seen a lot of players try and recreate what Kobe had, but no one ever came close to what Shaq was doing. The man was a freak of nature, bullying anyone in his path and forcing himself into the paint so he could absolutely posterize defenders. Remind you of anyone? Zion Williamson is the first player in ages that has captured Shaquille O'Neal's style of play so well. Zion has brought an element back to the NBA that a lot of players in his new generation have never faced. It's insane to watch as well, as Zion will simply do what he wants and no one can stop him. Simply put, no one is strong enough to guard Zion, and we love to see it. He's a scary guy, but not just because of how big his arms are. Zion is not only big and strong, but he's also very technical in how he plays. He creates pockets of space that he can capitalize on using his first step, which is an athletic feat in itself. It's been amazing to watch someone like Zion make his way up the ranks and now be a legitimate MVP candidate. It's been a long while since we've seen a player of his type bullying people at the rim and dunking over their heads. Zion Williamson has brought back what Shaquille O'Neal introduced to the game all those years ago. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Zion will take the Pelicans to the championship? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.